what about those warnings from 2014?
Syria has become a huge magnet for extremists.
We are concerned about the use of Syrian territory by the Al-Qaeda.
The level of killing that they're doing inside of that country is terrible.
The brand new backlash for his final days of office.
And this may look like your average doll, but it could be spying on your kids. What every parent needs to know before shopping this holiday season. Fox and Friends First starts right now.
Good to be alive, especially this time of year. It is my favorite. The holiday season. It is still pretty dark outside here in New York City. Good morning to all of you. You're watching Fox and Friends First on this Thursday morning. Good to be back with you. I'm Abby Huntsman.
And I'm Heather Childers. Nice to have you with us today. And thank you all for joining us as well. Nice to have you with us. Well, the Trump administration, this is where we begin taking shape ahead of the new year as the president-elect is on the verge of announcing two major picks.
Yes, the transition team confirming retired General John Kelly and Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt. They have been tapped to fill critical roles.
Garrett Tenney is live for us in Washington, D.C. with the details. Good morning, Garrett.
Heather and Abby, good morning to you. This latest pick makes it 3 generals now that President-elect Trump has selected to serve in his cabinet. Retired Marine General John Kelly confirms to Fox News he has been asked to head the Department of Homeland Security. An official announcement is expected in the next couple of days, but the selection of Kelly is certainly another sign that Mr. Trump is serious about securing the country's southern border. For the last 3 years, Kelly has served as the head of the U.S. military's Southern Command, which includes the southern border and regularly involved immigration enforcement. Senior transition officials also confirm Mr. Trump has now settled on his choice to head the EPA. Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, who may prove to be among the more controversial of the president-elect's picks. Pruitt, after all, has been an outspoken critic of the agency he's now been asked to head and has repeatedly sued the EPA to roll back environmental regulations. Now, despite the outcry from liberal and activist groups, Mr. Trump's team says they are not worried about his confirmation.
We're very accustomed to the naysayers and the critics, and we know some people are still running a permanent campaign, but Attorney General Pruitt has great qualifications and a good record as the AG of Oklahoma, and there were a number of qualified candidates for that particular position that the president-elect interviewed, and he settled on Attorney General Pruitt, and we'll look forward to the confirmation hearings.
One more cabinet selection we now know of as well is former wrestling executive Linda McMahon, who has been nominated to head the Small Business Administration. Here's a look at the remaining cabinet seats Mr. Trump has to fill, which includes, of course, the turbulent selection of the next Secretary of State, as well as the Secretaries of Agriculture, Energy, Interior, Labor, and Veterans Affairs. Heather and Abby.
All right, Garrett, and there was also a celebrity sighting at Trump Tower yesterday. What do we know? Who was this special person?
Well, we seem to have celebrity sightings almost every day now at Trump Tower. And yesterday, that was Leonardo DiCaprio, who showed that even after this election, his heart will go on. And we're told the Oscar-winning actor met with Mr. Trump to present a green jobs plan for the country. And his meeting, of course, comes just one day after Mr. Trump met with former Vice President Al Gore to discuss climate change.
Yeah, and a couple days ago, we heard that Leonardo had given a copy of his documentary to Ivanka and had met with her.
That's
so
right.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens from all of this. Good to see you, Garrett. We'll see you a little later on the show.
Thank you, Garrett.
All right, not on his radar as our nation faces the biggest threat of Islamic terror since 9/11. President Obama now claims ISIS caught him off guard.
But not so fast. He actually knew about the ruthless terror group for years, and there's proof.
Jackie Banez is here now to show us how. Jackie, good morning.
Good morning, Abby and Heather. You have to hear this all to believe it. President Obama's shocking claim that ISIS surprised U.S. intelligence officials. Sitting down for an interview during his final days in office, the president says the rise of one of the worst terror organizations in history wasn't something he expected.
The ability of ISIL to initiate major land offenses. That was not on my intelligence radar screen.
But intelligence officials have been publicly warning about the rise of ISIS and leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi since 2014.
Syria has become a huge magnet for extremists.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is a designated global terrorist under U.S. law, and we believe is currently based in Syria. His mission, as clearly stated in his own statements, is to carve out a zone of governing territory from Baghdad through Syria to Lebanon.
Just the level of destruction that they're having, the level of killing that they're doing inside of that country is terrible.
And a Fox News report from 2 years ago shows the president was given detailed and specific information about the rise of ISIS in his daily briefings for at least a year before they started overtaking large territories. A source claiming that with the information given to the president, a policymaker, quote, could not come away with any other impression. This is getting bad. Heather, Abby, back to you.
All right, Jackie Ibanez live for us. Thank you, Jackie. Well, meantime, former Navy SEAL Carl Higbee slamming President Obama for saying that he was surprised by ISIS. He says that our commander-in-chief had multiple warnings and he just refused to listen.
Barack Obama's foreign policy has been a complete disaster. He knows darn well that his intelligence community told him that, and any general that told him that ISIS was going to be a problem, he fired them. That way he wouldn't have to listen to him. And all the people who didn't speak up are the ones that stuck around, that he didn't get rid of. So when he says that he didn't hear about this from the intelligence community, that's malarkey. I know for a fact guys like General Flynn told him that this was going to be an issue.
Well, retired General Michael Flynn has been named the new head of the National Security Council under the Trump administration.
Also breaking right now, the urgent hunt for a cop killer is intensifying across the state of Georgia. The feds now offering a $30,000 reward for information on this man, Miguel Lembrick, considered armed and extremely dangerous. Well, Lembrick is accused of opening fire on 2 officers near Georgia Southwestern State University in Americus. Officer Nicholas Smar, you can see him here on the right, he was killed. Officer Jody Smith fighting for his life at this hour. Lembrick has been on the run for 19 hours and counting, posting this chilling message on Facebook saying, quote, not going to jail. At the time of the shooting, he was wanted for kidnapping.
Well, chaos and violence, meantime, outside a high school in Reno when a teen pulls out a knife and starts swinging at his classmates. A school police officer forced to shoot when the teenager refused to drop his weapon. Well, that 16-year-old is now hospitalized in critical condition. All of this apparently started as a fight between students. Luckily, no one else is hurt. The police officer is on administrative leave.
Well, the desperate search for a missing Marine pilot is expanding overnight. The F-18 jet crashing near the coast of Japan after something went wrong during a regular training mission, forcing the pilot to eject. This is the 6th F-18 jet crash this year for the U.S.
2 teenagers now facing charges in the deadly wildfires raging across the Great Smoky Mountains. 14 people have been killed and nearly 1,000 buildings and homes damaged in the explosive Tennessee infernos. And the teens could be tried as adults, we're told. Several of Dolly Parton's celebrity friends now stepping up to help victims who lost everything. Reba McEntire and Kenny Rogers among those set to perform at Parton's telethon we told you about, which will happen next Tuesday.
Love both of them. Well, American astronaut icon John Glenn, he's being treated at the hospital. The 95-year-old was admitted to an Ohio cancer facility last week. Officials are saying it does not mean he has cancer, but are not releasing any information about his illness. Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth in 1962. He later went on to become an Ohio senator, serving more than 20 years.
Well, a literal wall of snow. Look at this woman plunging into the 7-foot-high powder to escape her North Dakota home.
It is part of a vicious polar plunge that's taking over the Midwest, dipping temperatures down to 30 degrees below normal, and the cold weather is headed to the East Coast now.
So Fox News senior meteorologist Janice Dean is live for us here in the studio with all those chilly details. Good morning.
It's coming here.
It is here. Take a look at the map. So we've got -9 in Prince George, Canada, -4 in Saskatoon, and that polar plunge is moving southward as far south as the Gulf Coast and Florida. So there are your current temperatures, -3 in Denver, 0 in Billings, 18 in Fargo. But the dangerous part of this is the wind chill. So there's the current temperatures. I mean, single digits, -29 in Casper. That's a current temperature. And then you've got the wind chills. So -teens, -20s across the board here. Dangerous cold, the coldest air we have seen so far this season. And it is sinking southward. How far south? Again, Gulf Coast, Florida. The blue you see, that's below freezing. And the pink, that's below 0. And we're going to see this cold plunge and then another one behind it. Our next weather maker is moving into the West Coast, bringing feet of snow, heavy rainfall all along the West Coast, and that is going to move in towards the northern plains, the Midwest, the Great Lakes, maybe even the Northeast this week, and we're going to have to watch it. But there are your winter storm advisories. We also have freezing advisories for parts of the northern plains and the Rockies, and you can see millions of people affected by this next winter storm. Forecast precipitation again, feet of snow in the mountains and then across the Midwest and the Great Lakes. And we'll have to see what happens as we head into the weekend, because perhaps some of this energy is going to come into the Northeast, ladies. So stay tuned.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a tease, I would say. What could you be talking about?
I know. Also great for skiing, though, as the holidays are holidays right around the corner.
It's been a little weird. I have to admit, it's been, warmer than average. We need a little bit of snow. I need to make my first official snow angel of the season.
Exactly.
A nice pattern would be lovely.
Remember, we agreed to do that. You and Ainsley and I were going to do that.
I love it.
You have to join in for sure.
Yes, I love it. Thank you, Jan.
You got it.
Well, the time now is 10 minutes after the top of the hour. And bonus backlash. The Pentagon said that soldiers would not have to repay their enlistment bonuses. But now, an about face why hundreds still have to pay up.
And remember when Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel vowed to defy our president-elect?
To be clear about what Chicago is, it always will be a sanctuary city.
What went on behind the scenes at Trump Tower yesterday when the two met face to face?
And a Christmas board game creating, yes, some controversy. Who rules Christmas, Jesus or Santa?
Minutes now after the hour. We're back with this story, and it's a story that sparked some national outrage. Now the Pentagon attempting to right their wrong, but hundreds of soldiers still being forced to pay back cash bonuses that they were paid decades ago. Over 10,000 troops who risked their lives overseas during the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were given enlistment bonuses. The government says they were overpaid, but say they dug deeper now. They say they only want 700 of those soldiers that were actually overpaid to pay that money. Also this story, a document up revealing the worst VA hospitals in the country. USA Today obtaining internal files from the Veteran Affairs Office, ranking each facility from 1 to 5 stars. The worst offenders, Texas and Tennessee, where some hospitals only received 1 star. Massachusetts and New York had some of the best, receiving 5 stars. And the Phoenix VA, where vets allegedly died waiting for treatment, has just 1 star.
Rahm Emanuel pleading with President-elect Trump to protect illegal immigrants. The Chicago mayor visiting Trump Tower just weeks after promising this.
To be clear about what Chicago is, it always will be a sanctuary city. You are safe. You are secure, and you are supported in the city of Chicago.
Mr. Trump has threatened to strip funding from sanctuary cities, as you've heard, but Mr. Emanuel says that we should actually be embracing illegals.
Where I stood and other mayors stood on immigrants, that we welcome them because they are achieving and striving for the American dream. I also spoke out strongly about what it means to be a sanctuary city where we support and secure the people that are here.
The president-elect said in a Time magazine article naming him Man of the Year that he would work out something for illegal immigrant children. So let's keep talking about this. Should President-elect Trump soften his stance on immigration and sanctuary cities? Log on to the Fox and Friends First Facebook page right after the show for a live debate. #KeepTalking. And have you heard about this? Michael Moore calling for violence on Inauguration Day. The controversial liberal filmmaker asking protesters on Twitter to, quote, disrupt President-elect Trump's swearing in, saying this, quote, disrupt the inauguration. The majority have spoken by nearly 2.7 million votes and counting. Silence is not an option. The filmmaker predicted Mr. Trump's victory well before Election Day.
Well, this is a first in the polls for President-elect.
A brand new Bloomberg Politics poll showing Mr. Trump with a 50% favorability rating. That is up from just 33% last summer, and it's the highest that it has been since he announced a presidential bid.
And about the same number of people also said they've become more optimistic about a Trump presidency since Election Day. And that brings us to Look Who's Talking. And this morning, Republican Representative Sean Duffy of Wisconsin is talking.
He says that liberals are shocked that America is starting to give President-elect Trump a chance.
What is interesting is liberals across America, like maybe a little bit of Richard, their hair's on fire. They're pulling it out. They can't believe the evil Donald Trump is actually, warming up to the American people, and they kind of like him. They want to give him a shot. What's interesting is, listen, 1 second, only 28% of Americans want Democrats to oppose Donald Trump, and Republicans in Congress, they actually want them to work with us to secure the border, fix health care, and grow the economy, which is really remarkable for Democrats now to have this push from their own side to say, work together and get some of these big initiatives done.
Well, the time now is about 18 minutes after the top of the hour, and freedom on fire. Fury after not one, but 2 flags are set on fire.
America is the best place. I mean, whether you want to accept that or not, it's got so much freedom, so much opportunity.
Go somewhere else for a couple of months and see what the rights you have there, and you'd be happy to come back here.
Where the outrage is now boiling over.
Terrible. We'll still have some holiday shopping left to do. Yes, I have a lot to do. Well, there is apparently an app for that. Brett Larson is here to help make you a savvy shopper this morning. Stick around.
There's an app for everything, right?
Smoke clears, I awaken.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends First. Freedom on fire. Look at this. 2 American flags. You can see the burned out rubble there. Flying outside 2 different gyms in California, burned to a crisp on the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. The owners, a combat veteran and a man who immigrated from Indonesia, both defending the flag and what it stands for.
America is the best place. I mean, whether you want to accept that or not, it's got so much freedom, so much opportunity.
Go somewhere else for a couple of months and see what the rights you have there, and you'd be happy to come back here.
Well, both of those flags have been replaced while police try to track down whoever did that. Well, the caretakers accused of scamming a World War II vet out of hundreds of thousands of dollars are behind bars this morning. We first told you about this heartbreaking story out of New Mexico earlier this year. Purple Heart recipient Dennis Firk allegedly robbed of $340,000 by Diane Zeman and Joe Roscoe. Someone recognized their pictures on TV and reported them to police.
Well, there is some trouble in Toyland weeks before Christmas. A brand new report now saying your kids' toys might be spying on them.
Ask Kayla almost anything. What's your name? My name's Kayla and yours is Abby.
So a consumer group filing a federal complaint against that doll, My Friend Kayla, and the IQ robot. They claim the internet-connected toys are recording children's conversations without parental consent, even asking kids for personal information like their parents' names and where they live. So creepy. And there's this, a controversial Christmas board game pitting Santa against Jesus, causing an uproar. The game puts players on 2 teams, Team Santa and Team Jesus. Well, the 2 teams then compete to win the most believers. Many Christians say the game claim is in poor taste and trivializes Christian values and beliefs.
Well, do you still have some Christmas shopping left to do? I've not even started.
So much.
But are you dreading all the drama?
The Tillman dolls, they're all gone. No, there's got to be another one here somewhere. There's none here.
Well, with only 17 days left now until Christmas, things can get a little crazy, but don't worry because there's an app for that, right, Heather?
Mm-hmm. Brett Larson from Fox News Headlines 24/7 on Sirius XM 115 is here to help make us all a smarter shopper. Good morning, Brett.
Morning, Brett.
There's an app for everything now. If only there was an app to shop for you. We're getting close to that, though. Yeah, but you can avoid holiday shopping crowds and ensure you are getting your best price. Your smartphone will make you the savviest shopper around. First up, Retail Me Not. The free app offers up coupons and online codes that'll help you save and even deals from thousands of local and national restaurants. You can even see savings and get alerts on deals based on your current location. Another in-store helper, Quick Scan. I like this. You just scan the barcode of what you're thinking about buying, and it'll find you the lowest price around. From online to the next block, it keeps tabs on current prices so you don't end up overpaying. Nobody wants to overpay for anything. They used to fill your newspaper or your mailbox, but now you can get weekly ads in the palm of your hand with the help of the app Flip with 2 Ps. Add in your loyalty cards, pick out your favorite local stores, and let the savings begin. You can even use the app to put together a shopping list so you're sure that you don't forget anything once you finally get to the store. And finally, this is probably the biggest problem most of us will face when you're done shopping. Don't get stuck asking, dude, where's my car? With the app Find My Car. Just save your parking spot when you park, snap a photo for visual cues, even share the location with other users. Maybe somebody needs to come pick you up because you're too tired. And then you will easily find your car wherever it is you left it when you're done. Because let's face it, you hit that mall parking lot after a busy day of shopping.
It's
true. But every time you say, I'm going to remember where I parked this car, and it's the same thing every time you walk out after shopping, you're like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
remember
people are always using their
post.
phone. They're like a keychain and trying to hear it beep.
Exactly.
All right,
So
thank you so
guys.
much, Brett.
Thank
Have
you.
a great holiday. See you later.
You too, thank you.
All right, the time is now about 27 minutes after the hour, and the PC police strike again. You'll never guess who has to go through Transgender 101 training now.
And stepping up to the plate after big-name designers dissed our next First Lady, who is now saying that it would be an honor, as it should be, to dress Melania Trump.